I know you're Lysander Spooner University. That's one place, right?
Yeah, I run LysanderSpoonerUniversity.com, which is a startup university. We're trying to eventually have a brick and mortar institution. Right now, it's mostly a libertarian website, a blog, and we do some actually some profound research. We actually broke the story earlier, I should say a year ago, 2019. Lysander Spooner University broke the story that at Glacier National Park, they have removed the signs that said the glaciers were supposed to melt by the year 2020, and they quietly removed those signs in the winter when the facilities were
I remember
closed.
seeing those photographs that you took of the information boards at Glacier National Park, and they were saying that the glaciers would all be gone by 2020, and I remember seeing those photographs like a year ago at least. And it's funny that was you, but thanks for being here, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, just one last thing, guys. Check out Island's site, that's O-Y-L-E-E's site on Facebook, and do as loud as you possibly can about this. If you've got videos, share all the videos. If you don't want to share mine, you don't let me share somebody else's. It's not me, it's the message that's important. Everyone has the right to seek medical care for their children in a manner they see fit. Thanks for watching.
You know which DHS office has her?
See, I don't even know. Let's ask John doesn't know. I don't know.
Hey, Reggie. Hey, are you with Haley? Hey, can you guys come up to OHSU Dornbecker and help with the protest? Okay, yeah, I was just curious. It's a pretty serious thing, so that's why I was asking. It's a serious thing, that's why I was asking.
We're taking it easy, but we're not doing any protests or anything like that today right now.
Okay, yeah, because I was.
We'll probably come up there. I don't know. I'll probably go up there next couple of days or something, but I'm not doing anything today.
Okay.
So, all right, talk to you later.
All right.
So how did they sneak up on you? Like fucking Antifa Ninja style?
Well, I approached one of the crowds outside of the vigil that was happening, and I was talking to him. I didn't see the tall one come up behind me, and when I saw the recordings of other people's videos, that person wasn't even there until the very last second, where he just had the scissors out, snipped off a piece of my, grabbed my phone, snipped off a piece of hair, dropped the scissors. I didn't do that. I wanted to. I was so mad at that.
Wow. Like, wow.
So as you can see, Haley and them aren't going to come up here. So, in a couple days means they're not going to show up. So, as you can see, they'll help on their conservative events, but not other conservative events.
What's the DA's name, Bob? The head DA?
Oh man.
Rod Underhill.
Yeah. Oh hey, John.
Yeah.
I want to interview you for a second. So you were here on the Bundy trials.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
Well, I was pleased with the outcome. They're protesting stuff. I was here for both trials that was here in Portland, the first one and the second one.
Right.
The second one was disappointing to me because some of the guys still got sentenced to about a year in prison.
Right.
But I was happy that they got found not guilty myself.
Okay. And what about, and you were over at the bird refuge with us.
Yes, I come over there for a little bit.
And what do you think of that place?
Well, I think that, you mean for the public grounds and stuff, or?
As far as, the protests and stuff like that.
I think it went peaceful. I don't think anybody, nobody tore up nothing. The only thing that got tore up was when the feds raided the place and tore the place up and kicked in the doors later.
Yeah.
Besides all the protesters there, they cleaned up the place and took care of the place.
Okay, so the protesters took care of the place. The feds tore it up. And were you there before when the feds when they first went in there?
I wasn't there. No.
Okay. Yeah, I heard that the records were rat.
Yeah, I've seen the videos and pictures of all that when like Dwayne Emmer and Lavoy Finicum and all them was going through all that, and it was rat infested.
Yeah.
Basement.
And they murdered Lavoy Finnegan.
I feel they totally murdered him. There was no need to murder him. He never pulled a gun.
Yeah, my understanding, he didn't even have a gun on him at the time.
I don't believe he did. There was no proof of any gun. Nobody's seen none.
Yeah. And the feds that said they got a gun, it was a stolen gun, and it was, I believe, an automatic. You know.
Instead of some semi-automatic.
Yeah, semi-automatic, and he didn't have that. He had a Russian Ruger, I believe.
Yeah, I know he always carried a 6-shooter on his side, like an old revolver.
Yeah.
Definitely there was no gun showing when he during that stop there. He never pulled a gun. He never waved it or brandished it or nothing.
No. Yeah, I seen the video of him coming out. Looked like he was coming out of the SUV with his hands up.
Yeah.
So.
Plus, you're in deep snow, so you got to keep your balance and.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm just curious about what you thought of that and stuff like that. But
it was a horrible situation that the government was. The whole thing was about the Hammonds.
Right.
You know how they was sending them back to prison the second time. That's what was upsetting to everybody.
Yeah.
And all these people went there to protest, and
well, can you explain how they went to prison for the second time? What happened?
Well, what they did is they supposedly started a backfire to protect their land.
Yeah.
And so they was charged with arson. And they went to prison, both of them did, on them arson charges. The son for 1 year and the father for 3 months. Well, the prosecutors thought that wasn't enough time, so they asked the judge to resentence them to longer after they went to prison and was released. So on the same charges, they went back to prison again, and they were sentenced to 5 years the second time for the same charges. And President Trump ended up pardoning them on that.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this. My understanding there was minerals like iron and...
I heard of uranium for sure.
Uranium?
And some other things that are supposedly on that ranch because the federal government's been trying to take it for years from them. This has been a battle with the Hammonds and the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, for over 20 years.
So, yeah, they're trying to steal the uranium from the Hammonds.
Yes.
That's really sad right there.
It is. Since they've been out of prison now and pardoned by Trump, they're still being harassed by the court system over that land issue. The judge just about a month ago ruled again and suspended their grazing rights for no crime, no nothing. Just suspended it.
All right, thank you.
Well, thanks a lot, Bob. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Hey, you're welcome. So there's a guy that stands up for other people's rights. He's a conservative, and he's not getting any kind of help from the conservatives in the city of Portland. So that is really, really sad that Portland Liberation or the Proud Boys won't come up and be with them. Thank you.
I went to cover a protest, Mama, and there was Right? She still supports what I do, even though she's not only is she a Trump supporter, but she's like just a rabid bootlicker. Like, she just loves the police. Like she's that the